Oh, and welcome to this week's weekly global trends and forecast. We are now in the week 8, but we are covering here the trends observed in the previous week and what is the forecast ahead. We will be covering global trends occurring across the world, Middle East, particularly important given the conflict erupting in that part of the world, Indo-Pacific, always a region of concern, and South Asia, as well as India. Here we go as far as the global trends and forecasts are concerned. We see in the past week there has been no trend change, particularly in the use of unilateral use of military power, with the United States president threatening to bomb Iran within the next 8 to 10 days, and some say even likely to happen on Tuesday or a day after this week, coming week. The global geopolitical uncertainty has in fact grown after the United States Supreme Court struck down the tariffs emergency rulings which were given by the Trump administration. Multilateralism remains a concern. Great power competition has also increased, and we find that growing tendencies of the three major global powers, Russia, China, and the United States, at conflict on a number of issues, particularly this time around Iran. UN influence continues to be negative. Energy security concerns are emerging in case the United States goes in for a military conflict with Iran. Definitely, the energy security across the globe will be impacted. Alliance stress, NATO and Euro-Atlantic remains a concern. In fact, it has gone in the negative. And nuclear non-proliferation is something which we all closely watching for between US and Russia. No breakthrough so far as a renewal of any of the major agreements. Now let's turn on to the Middle East. You find the regional state stability, external intervention concerns, state non-state conflict, and interstate conflicts all going into the negative. In fact, the last one, interstate conflict, has in the past week seen a changing trend, and we anticipate that in the coming week also there will be a negative trend given the threat posed by the United States president to Iran of bombing it unless it accepts the nuclear negotiations which have been offered and for which the talks took place in the previous week. Internal political situation in Iran was uncertain, but it has emerged as a concern now. Humanitarian crisis remains negative, and as far as the two-state solution, Israel-Palestine, concerned, there were some positive trends, but we do not anticipate these going ahead, and thus we have categorized it as a concern. As far as the leadership summit goes, now we are coming on to the Indo-Pacific, and there we have some encouraging trends. Leadership summit occurred between US, China, Russia. However, the great power competition in this Indo-Pacific is likely to continue, particularly between China and Japan. There is a degree of alliance stress for the Quad, as well as the United States allies and partners in the Indo-Pacific. Interstate conflict, Cambodia and Thailand remains a concern, as we find that there are some new issues which have erupted in the past week and may continue to impact the overall trends ahead. Coming on to the internal military situation which is there in China, the stability of the PLA continues to raise concerns after the two top members of the Chinese Central Military Commission were summarily removed in December. Let's get on to the South Asia and trends and forecast. Interstate conflict, Pakistan, Afghanistan continues to be in the negative. In fact, Pakistan just carried out multiple airstrikes in Afghanistan, which is likely to raise some border crisis in the week ahead. India-Pakistan also remains on the boil. Particularly, we see the Indian intelligence agencies have flagged that the Lashkar-e-Taiba is preparing for launching some terrorist attacks in the national capital, New Delhi. As far as elections are going, the Myanmar remains on the negative. Bangladesh, we have some positive developments as we covered last week as well. Nepal continues to be uncertain with some concerns over eruption of violence during the election campaigning, which is ongoing. Terrorism, Pakistan continues to be negative. Strategic convergence, China-Pakistan, positive. Interstate relations, India and Bangladesh, we have categorized as uncertain, though we are hoping that there will be some positive developments given the new approach that is likely to be adopted by the BNP-led government with Prime Minister Tariq Rahman as its head. Humanitarian stress, Afghanistan, there's no change, unfortunately. And as far as the internal security in Bangladesh is concerned, we find that there is a positive change again, as the election related violence and the pre election related violence is certainly coming down. Let's get on to India. Geopolitical dilemma for India continues, and this was very much evident in the Palestine issue when India was late in joining the joint declaration at the United Nations for a two-state solution. Economic diplomacy from positive, it has turned to uncertain given the United States Supreme Court ruling overturning the Trump tariffs. Neighborhood stress, Bangladesh, an improvement, which as we have already noted, Indian Ocean region was a very positive development with the holding of the International Fleet Review last week and the exercise Milan by the Indian Navy. Indian Air Force capability building is again also on the positive, even though it's not uncertain per se, but definitely the trend remains positive. Indian Navy, as we highlighted, continues to be on a positive trajectory. As far as other factors are concerned, youth employment in India, urban and rural, will remain a concern. Militancy in Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir the progress is uncertain. We are waiting for a political breakthrough per se. Radicalization, all India also remains a concern given the recent incidents and trends which have been noticed. So this is something which you will have to keep observing in the days ahead. As we end, kindly note that the trends and forecasts are derived from qualitative analysis of publicly available information. Recipients are encouraged to conduct their own evaluation before making any policy or operational decisions. Thank you for being with us. And if you like this presentation, do subscribe.